Nearly all the small primates at Monkey World were rescued from the British pet trade. The majority are marmosets. There are more than 35 needing the care and attention of the primate care staff. But there's also another small species demanding attention, the tamarinds. The park haven't had many, and just recently lost one of the most loved to old age, cotton-top tamarin Uncas. His passing means his companion Mo is on her own, but also presents an opportunity for the care team.
So that's very sad for Mo, but it's also slightly good news for another resident at the park. We have Red, the female red-bellied tamarin. Obviously, we didn't have any other red bellies, so we didn't have an option of her own kind to introduce her to. We've tried and failed to introduce her to some marmosets over the time that she's been with us so far, but she's very much not a fan of the marmosets. She finds them very irritating and doesn't want anything to do with them. So now we have these two single female tamarins, so we thought we'll try them together and touch all of the wood. So far, it's actually going pretty well. Hi, do you want to come out?
Red arrived last year, rescued from appalling conditions by the RSPCA, who then passed the small primate over to Monkey World. Like Mo, she's elderly, but that's where the similarities end.
Mo's actually a really good friend for Red to have, partly because she knows how to monkey. She grew up in a zoo environment with a family. She knows natural behaviours. She's good examples of this is how you forage, this is how you communicate, this is how you groom. But also partly because she's lived with Uncas for years now, and he was a lovely Fruit Loop. So she's also used to animals that maybe don't behave quite normally than what she was used to. So if Red is a bit weird, Mo's actually kind of used to that kind of companion, so she's quite patient. She was very patient with Uncas at times, so we're hoping that carries over for Red as well.
The two elderly ladies seem to be getting on. They're unlikely to have the same close relationship Mo had with Uncas, but it's a lot better than being on their own.
It's really nice that we're able to give her an opportunity to have some companionship again. I think she really needed it. They're meant to be, you know, with others of their own kind. They're not meant to be alone. So I'm really hopeful that the signs are looking good with these girls and that they can provide that company for each other.
Space at the park for new rescues is at a premium, especially for small primates like the marmosets. The legal primate pet trade in the UK has led to many needing to be rehomed from owners unable to give them the expert care and attention they need. As a result, the park is now full to the brim. A bill to change the pet trade law is currently going through Parliament. But until it passes, the trade and inevitable rescues will continue. To alleviate the situation, Monkey World has teamed up with a number of other wildlife parks and sanctuaries with room to take on some of its rehabilitated and established pairs or groups. Today, one of those families is leaving for a new home at Puxton Park in Somerset.
So we've chosen the Simpsons to send because, to be honest, we're running out of sort of healthier rehabilitated pairs to send. The mark of the pet trade, unfortunately, is stamped forever on some individuals. They always will struggle with things like rickets and mobility. So anybody that's a bit weak and wobbly, we can't send. Whereas the Simpsons are a pretty healthy and pretty robust group of 4. We also think taking them away from the squirrel house, where there's a lot going on. You know, you've got squirrel monkeys, you've got sarkies and Loki, the marmoset next door, and they sometimes get a bit hot and bothered about the neighbours. So taking them away to an environment where they're much more sort of not surrounded by other primate species might actually be quite good for them. And they just work really well as a nice little family unit, as marmosets should be. So we're going to miss them, but we know that Puxton are really good at looking after them. We've seen that with the 2 pairs we've sent previously, so good thing for them and frees up a bit of space for us for all of those countless rescues out there that are going to need our help.
But Steph won't be returning empty-handed. She's bringing back Tyre, a female marmoset rescued by Alison from appalling conditions at a flat in Plymouth, who went on to live at Puxton. She's recently lost her mate, so is returning to the park where some single males are in need of a partner.
Really excited to see Tyre. She's a madam. I'm curious to see if she's still a little madam. She was always quite a small marmoset, quite boxy, but always quite feisty and full of attitude. So it'll be interesting to see if she's still that way. So we'll bring her back here, we'll get her settled, and then we'll consider who's the best option to try for an introduction for her.
Steph and Elle have persuaded the Simpsons family into travel crates ready for the journey.
All good. Marge and Nelson boxed straight away, and then Bart and Ralph just needed a couple of minutes afterwards to calm down and then realise malt loaf was worth getting into the catch crate for.
The family consists of mum Marge, son Bart, and young twins Nelson and Ralph. Unlike most of the primates rescued at the park, the twins have had a great start to life. They've been brought up by their parents, with all their needs met. The foursome are perfect candidates to move on.
Oh. Look after them.
It's a 2-hour journey to Puxton. Steph is aiming to deliver the Simpsons, collect Tyre, and be back in Dorset in time to get her settled for the night in her new home. Following a 2-hour journey to the neighbouring county of Somerset, Steph has arrived at Puxton Park, along with the Simpsons, a family of 4 marmosets.
So we've got Marge and Nelson in here.
All right, hello.
Sort of half in, half out.
Yeah, bless them.
So Marge, you can see her tufts stick up, which is why she got the Marge Simpson name for the vertical hair.
You can follow me.
With space at Monkey World for these small primates at a premium, the 4 monkeys are being rehomed at Puxton. It's not the first time the 2 centres have come to such an arrangement, and probably won't be the last.
Very excited. We're quite a fairly new establishment, so to be able to help people like Monkey World to provide a home for these rescues is brilliant, really. And this facility was almost designed with them in mind, so it's really good having them here and hopefully for them to have fun here too, so yeah.
Returning with Steph to Dorset will be Tyre, a female marmoset now in need of a companion.
Perhaps into this one.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. That's perfect. All right, we'll go her this way.
But before she collects Tyre, Steph wants to see the Simpsons happy and settled in their new home.
So you're going to go with Marge and Nelson first, as they seem to be sort of up and about and ready to go. And then we'll do the other 2 boys. And then I'll try and sneak out while they're busy exploring.
Marge is first,
There we go.
with the rest of the family soon following.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
So that's Bart.
Okay.
That's Dad.
Only Ralph is a little reluctant.
So Ralph does tend to be the slightly more reserved one of the 2 young boys. There we go, good boy.
They all appear relaxed in their new surroundings.
Yeah, they look pretty good. Straight into exploring everything, having a good sniff around. Be a lot of scent marking, I imagine, over the next sort of half hour or so as they sort of claim everything as theirs now.
For Joe and his team, identifying all 4 will be a challenge.
I'll listen to what Steph's been saying, all the ways of telling them apart. We found with them it's about behaviour as well, so hopefully the behaviours will get a little indication who's who and how they react here. So yeah, so we're going to have fun, but that's what it's all about, so yeah.
Tyre has been caught, ready for the journey. She just needs to walk from one travel crate to another.
Hi, Tyre.
Okay, she's come through. She's in.
Definitely tail in. Yeah, that looks like.
All right, happy?
Happy. We have a Tyre. That was relatively easy.
A final check on the 4. Steph has mixed feelings.
Yeah, it's always a little bit emotional, just sort of having to walk away. But I'm really excited to have Tyre back. I'm excited to get her settled with a new partner. And yeah, looking forward to hopefully some more collaboration between us and Puxton in the future.
It's a quick, uneventful journey back to the park in Dorset, where the team are ready to welcome Tyre.
Hey, princess. Oh my goodness, you are so cute.
She's very cute. So she's hybrid, so hence the grey tufts, and she's also very box-like in shape.
For now, Tyre will be in a bedroom in the squirrel monkey house, living alongside them, plus the Sarkies and Loki the marmoset.
Right, want to have a look, Miss Tyre?
The team are hoping that the 2 will eventually hit it off and become a pair. Only time will tell. After an early start, Alison has arrived back at the park in Dorset with a male marmoset, confiscated by the RSPCA on welfare grounds. The primate care staff are ready and waiting.
I'm happy with you to work with him. We're probably going to have to get the vet in to have him checked.
Yeah.
So the question is whether or not we do that straight off the bat tomorrow.
Alison has discovered the marmoset has a name, Machino. He's in desperate need of space to move around, a good diet and a companion. The Small Monkeys team can provide the whole package. With more than 30 marmosets already in their care, they're experts at rehabilitating these small primates, who often arrive from inappropriate conditions and with medical issues. A bedroom has already been prepared for Machino with lots of branching to move around on and live insects to tuck into.
Well, let's, get him inside and settle because I can feel him bouncing around a bit, which he wasn't doing before.
Elle is pleased Machino is a male.
Yeah, so the fact it is a male is actually quite beneficial to us. We've got a few single marmosets at the minute which just happen to be female. We're also quite aware that the pairings that we have, we've got kind of younger females with elderly males. So we've been told he's more than likely a male marmoset, so it will be helpful if he is to try and pair him up with one of our single females.
But before he's partnered up with a female, the team need to arrange birth control, most likely a vasectomy for Machino. There isn't any space for unplanned new arrivals. But first, he needs to get settled in his new home.
You ready?
Elle opens up the travel box and a nervous Machino heads up high to a corner of the bedroom. The space appears overwhelming for the small marmoset. Even the enticement of waxworms doesn't bring him down.
Here you go. Come on then.
The primate care team will spend the next few days building a bond with the newly arrived marmoset.
With every primate, you obviously have that bond between keeper and animal. The bond is quite crucial. It's important for getting into medications into them, for getting health checks. So we're going to work really hard to try and get that bond with him so he just feels a little bit more comfortable. It'll make it easier to assess him in the long run. He's kind of, I think, just a bit shell-shocked. He's in a new environment. Sounds like he's come from a pretty poor one. So yeah, it's to be expected, but hopefully he'll settle down and start to feel more comfortable soon.
For now, he has a good supply of soft blankets to snuggle in, plenty of food to help him through his first night, and a dedicated care team. For more than 35 years, Monkey World has been dedicated to rescuing and rehabilitating primates from across the globe. However, in recent times, a large proportion of those needing the park's expert care and attention have come from a lot closer to home. The UK's outdated pet trade laws have kept Alison and the team on the road, regularly rescuing unwanted marmosets from across the country. And, despite all their efforts, Alison still has a long waiting list. When the small primates arrive, they're given a health check. And if they're male, a vasectomy, before the staff do their best to pair them up with a partner, hopefully for life. It's a really important step for these social animals.
Here at Monkey World, we've got a few different species of marmoset. We've got Jeffroy's marmoset, black tufts and common marmoset. So we do have a range of different species. They are all unique. Common marmosets, they have kind of this skin-coloured face with a little black round the edge and white ear tufts. Jeffroy's marmosets are a little bit bigger than common marmosets, and they differ because they have a white face, a white around their face, and then also black ear tufts. So they do look physically different.
Despite the marmoset facilities being full to bursting, emergency calls still have to be answered. Jeffroy's marmoset Marcel arrived under such circumstances just last week. He was found running around in a garden in the Midlands. Alison collected him and brought him back to Dorset. Unfortunately, there's no partner for him just yet,
He's got Jenny and Clyde, the little old couple, next to him. I mean, they're fairly easy. They probably won't give him much hassle. It's more the Tamarind girls that are just next door, the other side. Obviously, we've got Red and Mo. They're both an old female couple living together. They're quite vocal. They're quite aggressive over food with each other, which does cause a little bit of a stir in the house at main feed times. But hopefully, he'll settle down quickly. The girls will soon learn to leave him alone, and the house will just go back to normal.
Today is the next big step in Marcel's rehabilitation. Elle is going to give him access into one of the specially designed outdoor enclosures.
While we've been revamping the outdoor enclosure, he has had tunnel access, quite a big long stretch of tunnel, and that way he still gets to get a little bit of sunlight, which is really important for vitamin D3, something that a lot of primates lack in the UK primate pet trade from where they're kept in hamster cages, bird cages, on indoor houses. So the fact he's even been able just to get a little bit of sunlight to help him physically is important.
Time to let Marcel get a taste of the great outdoors.
Whoa!
After a cursory look around,
Oh, his face.
he's off, sticking to the mesh at first,
Oh, bless him. You can jump on the branches.
before gaining confidence and starting to explore.
Oh, good job.
It doesn't take long for Marcel to feel at home in his new outdoor area.
The outside enclosure is probably the closest to the wild that Marcel's ever going to get to, with all the greenery and the branches and the trees and the shrubbery. There's bugs that he can forage outside. A lot of our marmosets spend majority of their time in the nice weather foraging outside for the bugs, for the extra protein, sunbathing. It gives them the additional space from the inside enclosures as well. So yeah, outdoor enclosure is massively important for marmosets.
Despite missing part of his tail, the young marmoset's balance and agility are good, and he seems comfortable on the branching as he takes in all the new sights and sounds.
Yeah, he's doing really good. I think he's loving it. He's calmed down a little bit now. I think the excitement was a lot to begin with. To be honest, I think he's so absorbed by his environment and the new world that he's now just come into that he's got plenty of entertainment. He's got the public right outside of his enclosure for a lot of entertainment. He's been shouting at the tamarinds next door. But mostly he's just been exploring around, really, looking at all the different trees and just having a great time.
Malagasy is home to the park's only group of ring-tailed lemurs. They're not monkeys, they're prosimians, which means first primates, and are native to the island of Madagascar. In lemur society, females are dominant, and Fennel has led the group for many years. In the wild, males are on the periphery of the troop and fight over the females when they're in season. In captivity, they tend to jockey for position more, which can put the group under strain. In Malagasy, there are 7 males and 1 female.
So Fennel is still our queen bee. She's still the leader of the group as the only female, but she is also getting a little bit older now. So we do see from her a little bit more reluctance to get herself involved if there is a bit of a scrap or some tension going on. She'd much rather snack and sunbathe than get involved with the politics, which is kind of fair enough. She definitely prefers the other older lemurs to the young sort of upstarts.
And it's the youngsters in the troop who've been responsible for recent tensions. Twin brothers Kurt and Friedrich are a lot younger than the majority of their housemates, who, apart from Al, are mainly in their 20s. The brothers have been ganging up on some of the less able group members, particularly Sirius.
Quite a lot of the times during the day, we actually have Kurt and Friedrich separate on one day, and Sirius will be out with the rest of the group. And then the following day, Kurt and Friedrich will spend time with the other lemurs, and Sirius and his brother Indiana will be inside for a bit to give them a break. They can still see the group and interact with them through the mesh outside. So it's no sort of big deal to just do that from time to time. At the moment, yeah, just for Sirius's safety, we're running people slightly separately.
It's not ideal, and the primate care team are working on bringing the group safely back together again. Their efforts are being aided by an improvement in Sirius's mobility. Recently, the team grew so concerned about his inability to get around, they called in the vet. Sirius was examined at the park's hospital and a number of X-rays taken. They revealed he was developing arthritis in his legs. He's now on long-term medication, and the difference is encouraging.
The lemurs have got this massive outdoor enclosure full of forest land, lots of ropes and things to jump around on, and being able to be fit and able and jump through the trees like the other lemurs is really important. At the moment, Sirius has now 100% got that, so we're really happy with him. He's doing really well. But again, that's something we're going to need to monitor, because if he starts to struggle to navigate the enclosure, we'll have to have a think whether he's able to stay in the enclosure, whether we can modify it in any way to make things easier for him to move around, and just basically keep a close eye and monitor the situation as we go forward.
In the wild, lemurs can live up to 25 years of age, but their life expectancy in captivity is longer. One of the park's lemurs, George, lived to the grand old age of 34. Sirius and his twin brother Indiana are in their early 20s, but aging very differently.
It's quite silly to watch him next to Indiana, though, because no one's told Indiana that he's an old boy. He's sort of big and strong and doesn't seem to be feeling it yet. But yeah, Sirius has definitely got to that point where you can see that he's getting older.
Ring-tailed lemurs are more terrestrial than most other lemur species. They spend a lot of time on the ground, particularly when travelling to find food. They have fabulous long, fluffy tails, which aren't just for show. They're used for communication between each other, especially when travelling on the ground and during conflict. Male lemurs have scent glands on their wrists and shoulders producing strong odours, which they wave towards rivals with their tails. They're also useful as a counterbalance when high up in the tree canopy, helping them move around more easily. On chillier days, the lemurs form a huddle, wrapping their tails around each other to keep warm. And when they're in a relaxed mood, there's nothing better than coming together for a spot of sunbathing and a grooming session. With temperatures rising and the sun high in the sky, one lucky group are in for a cooling treat. Down at Malagasy, the park's 8 ring-tailed lemurs are being given a frozen feast. Mashed bananas and grapes, hidden in the fronds of large pine cones.
We're going to string them up high around the forested enclosure that they have to get them up off the ground, to get them active, to get them moving, to get them stretching, and get them using their lovely long tongues as well to get in between the cracks of the pine cones to get all of the treats.
It makes for a challenging task. The pine cones are suspended with thin string, which constantly moves around. The lemurs must work out how to reach them and extract the fruit. It promises to be a whole mind and body workout. The troop are let out. They've been split into 2 groups due to recent tensions. The youngest members, brothers Kurt and Friedrich, have been throwing their weight around and ganging up on some of the older males. As a result, they now take it in turns to use the outdoor forest enclosure. Today, the terrible twins are in the forest attacking the pine cones, alongside alpha female Fennel and her best buddy Renton. Plus Al, another young male the brothers seem to tolerate, for now. The other 3 lemurs who make up the group, Himal, Sirius and his twin brother Indiana, won't miss out. They're being given their pine cones in the smaller caged enclosure. The whole troop tackle the frozen treats with enthusiasm. Fennel opts for a low-hanging pine cone. She's now 22, and the only female left in the group. Females are in charge in lemur society, and everyone respects her. Up above, the boys have worked out how to steady the moving pine cones. Lemur hands are perfectly adapted to tackling tricky objects. Their padded palms protect them from spiky plants, and their long, nimble fingers can easily manipulate the food. Their long tongues are also useful, as Friedrich demonstrates, eagerly licking the sticky treats trapped inside the pine cones. The The lemurs use their tails as a counterbalance. Even Owl, who has a broken tail, can steady himself.
It's important to keep them moving, keep their joints active. So yeah, placing things up high where they can't usually reach is really good, because in the wild, these guys will live both on the ground and up in the trees. So yeah, it's really important to get them up high, get them active, get them climbing, get them using all of those important muscles, and yeah, keeping them nice and active.
The pine cones have been a success, with the entire troop coming up with their own technique to haul in the fruit. The cones will remain in place all day, encouraging the lemurs to keep active and come back again and again. Down at Malagasy, primate care staff member Ali is preparing a colourful but prickly treat for the park's small troop of ring-tailed lemurs.
Come on.
He's been harvesting fresh gorse, which is currently in flower and grows in abundance around the park, and putting the prickly stems into baskets.
That is spiky. There we go, that's one ball. Hello, everybody.
He's suspending them along a rope to make it that bit trickier, and encourage the mainly ground-dwelling lemurs to use their arboreal skills.
Hopefully they're all coming over now, good stuff.
He's barely finished distributing the brightly coloured scent-filled baskets before the lemurs come running.
They smell good. This is flowering gorse, so it's, you can see it's very colourful. It's also very spiky, so there's a lot of interesting dynamics going on here with this one. We've also put a little bit of scatter in there, just something to, pique their interests. And this at the moment is obviously very colourful, it's very yellow, and it smells fantastic too. So hopefully this will trigger a few of their behaviours.
The troop of 8 is currently split into 2 subgroups. Troublesome young twins Kurt and Friedrich have been picking on the older boys, Himal, Indiana, and Sirius. As a result, they now take it in turns to use the outdoor area, while the others remain in the caged enclosure. Today, Kurt and Friedrich have been joined by Al, Renton, and the dominant, only female, Fennel. As an additional treat, Ali is giving the small group a scatter of banana, dried fruit, and nuts. But if they want it, they're going to have to find a way through the prickly gorse balls.
So we'll give them stuff like this, any form of enrichment really, to stimulate as many natural behaviours as we can. That's the whole point of enrichment, that's what we aim to do in captivity. We can't make it 100% natural, obviously, so we need to, add little bits and bobs that will trigger something that makes them behave in a natural way.
The approach is certainly working with the twins. They're young and confident and determined to discover what's concealed by the prickly gorse, using their long pointed muzzles and excellent sense of smell as they search. The oldest in the troop is Renton, who's 25. These days he takes the easy option, letting the younger males do the hard work while he picks up any scraps that fall to the ground. Renton is still extremely close to his sister Fennel, who's 2 years younger. She's still very agile and active, quickly tracking down the treats. Al is the other young male outside today. Very little is known about his background, but his broken tail suggests he suffered severe trauma during his time in the pet trade. He's adapted incredibly well, but struggles to compete with the more dominant males when it comes to food.
Al is at the bottom. He normally gets displaced off food, he normally gets displaced off enrichment like this, and he's had a pretty rough start. He's got a broken tail, so it's at a complete right angle, and that you'd think that would stop him, but his balance is fantastic. He's really good at balancing on the rope, up in the trees. It doesn't seem to slow him down at all. And because he's got that good balance, it means he can reach the stuff that a lot of the other guys wouldn't particularly bother with. And And that, that gives them a chance to interact with the enrichment as well as the others.
Ring-tailed lemurs are well adapted to tackling prickly and hard-to-reach food sources. Their padded hands and feet allow them to reach into spiky areas, and their thick fur also acts as a protective barrier. Ring-tailed lemurs have a very good sense of smell, with a wet nose at the end of their long muzzles, which helps them find flowering plants. In the wild, flowers make up 5% of a ring-tailed lemur's diet. Today, however, they seem more interested in the dried fruit and nuts Ali has put out, rather than the brightly coloured gorse flowers. But it's been a fun and active morning for the lemur troop, and rewarding for the primate care staff to see them mimicking the behaviour of wild lemurs in their faraway habitat of Madagascar.
Monkey World is home to a number of primates native to Southeast Asia, including 5 different gibbon species. Also among its residents is another, smaller primate from the same part of the world, the nocturnal Bengal slow loris. In the last 12 months, the park's lorises have seen big changes. A new nocturnal house was converted for their use, and the extra space had a positive impact. 3 of the small primates moved in, leaving more space for the others in the hospital loris house, reducing stress on their number. But their presence at the park has been a steep learning curve for the primate care staff. There's little known about the ecology, behaviour or care of these unusual primates. Monkey World welcomed its first ever slow loris, Boo, 9 years ago. She was rescued from the black market trade in the Maldives.
Hi, you!
2 years later, 5 lorises from Hong Kong joined her. Alison and the team wanted to learn as much as possible about this strange, secretive species. With not much known about it, knowledge gained at the park would complement the work done at Dao Tien, the park's sister sanctuary in Vietnam, which rescues both pygmy and Bengal loris and has had success releasing pygmy lorises back into the wild. In recent weeks, the primate care staff at Monkey World have been busy prepping the outdoor enclosure for females Nikki and Nora, and feisty male Axel, who've been living together for the last few months. Axel is a lot happier now he's not sharing a home with the other male Bruce, and soon all 3 lorises in the new house can use the outdoor enclosure together.
The biggest thing they need now is more space. One of the biggest things about loris, although they're small, they require as much space, say, as a gibbon. They require 4 or 5 hectare enclosures if you're really going to do something wonderful. So it's really important today that the Bengal get the 2 outside enclosures, and now the weather's coming nicer, we can do it.
Lorises are a nocturnal species, sleeping during the day and travelling and eating at night.
For the loris to come out, it's tricky for many reasons. First of all, it's nighttime for them. Inside the house is reverse lighting. In the outside, we have reverse lighting, but there's a little bit of natural light that comes in, which is great. They get fresh air coming through, but it's going to make them think, oh, am I still in sleep zone? Am I not? And also, there's long tunnels from the outside to the inside. Loris generally like tunnels, but in the tunnels, again, the temperature's different, the light's different. If it gets too hot, it makes them go a bit sleepy. So everything's slightly more of a challenge for loris, but we hope that Axel's just going to move at such speed, because they can go so fast, that the tunnels will be no problem for him.
Time for the lorises to make their way along the tunnel, as the team wait to see if they'll explore the newly renovated enclosure. Nikki is first to venture out and slowly starts to explore. The team have added lots of new branching to help the trio get around, and there's plenty of browse and planting to keep them occupied. Axel seems to really enjoy being outside. The change of environment and stimulus keeps him active and occupied. The extra space will also give the trio room to get away from each other whenever they want. In the wild, lorises aren't the most social of primates, only spending up to 10% of their day in the company of others.
The more we can stimulate the loris, the better. So to come outside here is just fantastic. One of the first places that Axel went was actually to the areas where there's fresh air coming in, and he was smelling the air, he was checking out what's going on. It is a lot noisier out here because there's public coming to view, there's a big road going by with the tanks. To a certain degree, you could worry about that, thinking it's just too stressful, we have to keep everything really quiet. But actually, the jungle at night is so noisy, it's like quite scary, because there's actually a lot more scary things at night time than there are in the day. So actually, it's all okay, and we just have to monitor and make sure they're all right with the new kind of stimulus that's coming.
So far, so good. The 3 lorises have embraced their new outside space and for now can come and go as they please. Gibbons and Duke monkeys aren't the only primates on the island the team at Dautien care for. There are also 5 Bengal lorises and 10 pygmy lorises. The centre has had great success rehabilitating and releasing 137 of the small nocturnal primates back into the wild. And next to go are Zuli and Bin. The pair have been living in the loris semi-free area for the last few months, getting used to the trees. They still have access to the cage, and the staff supplement their food, but they come and go as they please. Soon it'll be time to take their final steps back into the wild. But before that, the pair will need a health check, and Zuli needs to be fitted with a GPS radio collar, so the team can track their whereabouts once released. A vet team from Ho Chi Minh City have come to the island to do both tasks.
You want to wait? I mean, depending on how deep he is, he looks like he's sleeping, so...
Zuli has been anaesthetised, and Lee carefully lifts him out of his travel box. Fitting the collar on such a small primate is a fiddly procedure and requires gauntlets for safety due to their toxic bite.
Okay, let's put the collar. Yeah, I'm good. Great, that's amazing.
Once it's secure, Lee checks everything is working as it should.
Okay.
The team take the opportunity to weigh Zuli while he's still under sedation.
Okay, so 540. The pillowcase is 110. Okay. Yeah.
Around 450 grams is about right, and a lot less than the 800 grams he weighed when he first arrived at Dautien. He's returned to the box and monitored as he comes round from the anaesthetic. All being well, Zuli and Bin will be released into the wild in the next few days. They're not the only pair who are about to enjoy the freedom of the trees. The park is home to a number of primates native to Southeast Asia, but none so puzzling as the small nocturnal Bengal slow loris. It's now 10 years since Alison flew to the Maldives to rescue Boo, Monkey World's first ever slow loris.
Hi, you.
Since then, there have been 9 other arrivals, including Bobby, who was born at the park. Dr. Marina Kenyon has been studying a similar species for many years in the wild and at Dautien, Monkey World's sister sanctuary in Vietnam. The centre there has had great success rescuing, rehabilitating, and releasing pygmy loris back into the wild. While in the UK, Marina continues to learn more about the Bengal loris, a unique and secretive species.
With all loris species, we're learning as we go along. There's very limited wild data, and in particular with the Bengal. They live different altitudes. There's a huge size range from 2.4 kilos to 1 kilo. They're living in quite different habitats. But in Vietnam in particular, we're finding the Bengal are hanging out more in the better parts of the forest, where the thicker trees are. So that's what we've tried to do here. We've made it much more like a section of primary forest. So we just have to watch now and let them show us what they need.
Today, 2 of the park's lorises are being given one of their favourite foods, live insects. Primate care staff member Ali is adding a challenging aspect to the treat by using insect feeders.
The loris have got very strong grips, so they'll be able to hopefully hang onto these just by pressing their palms against the wood. In terms of manipulating the insects out of the holes, that could be a bit more difficult. That's why we've got 2 different sizes of hole. So these ones are slightly larger, probably for slightly larger insects like crickets. Hopefully the insects will just come out of the hole and they can grab them. If the insects do come out and they aren't aware of them, we're going to put a small container like this underneath so that they can catch them, and then they'll forage through the shavings.
The 2 lucky recipients are female lorises Boo and Bobby. There was a 3rd member of their group, Bruce, who recently passed away after a short illness. But the 2 girls are coping and getting on well, despite not having a male in the house. Loris are a nocturnal species, sleeping during the day and travelling and eating at night. Their house at Monkey World is adapted so they think it's nighttime during the day, and vice versa. Red light is used to monitor them, as they can't see it. Loris aren't known for their speed, and today 5-year-old Bobby isn't even sure she wants to get out of bed. Boo, however, is taking an immediate interest in the feeders. In the wild, insects and gum from tree bark are Loris's main food sources, and their great sense of smell, amazing eyesight, and the ability to hang from tiny branches makes them expert nocturnal hunters. The insect feeders are certainly keeping Boo busy and active, but she can take her time enjoying the treat with no competition from Bobby, who's still snuggled up having a duvet day.